Minister, we heard from police yesterday that they're in discussions with Defence and with ESA about assisting with their border checkpoints. Has there been any further discussion? Have you had discussion with your Commonwealth colleagues?
Okay, so as it relates to enforcement of ACT public health directions, that's the responsibility of the ACT government. The Commonwealth announced back in September of last year that, perhaps with the exception of national emergencies, that the ADF would not be involved in enforcing state border and public health direction requirements. So that's on us. The ADF involvement is with national priorities, principally around quarantine of repatriation flights and support for that sort of activity. So our principal focus in terms of our enforcement locally is through ACT policing and the SES. ADF may be able to provide some logistical support around the edges, but people should not expect to see the army at the border between the ACT and New South Wales. That's, the Commonwealth have been very clear that they will not be releasing the ADF for that purpose.
And with travellers moving between New South Wales and the ACT, a lot of people transit from, say, Goulburn or Yass for work. Would you consider some sort of permit system, some sort of fast lane through those border checkpoints to try and ease the congestion, particularly on weekends?
Well, we don't believe that's necessary at this point, and we don't want these checkpoints to have to be in place for a day than is necessary. So this is not something that we would anticipate still being the case, where police are at the border every single day through the and beyond. This is not a hard border closure. And media reporting to that effect, which I have seen in the last couple of days, is regrettable because it is a misrepresentation of enforcement of a public health direction around COVID hotspot. Closed to New South Wales. There's a public health direction in place in relation to people who live in or have been in certain designated hotspots. It's exactly the same as was put in place for Victoria last year. So I do need people to understand that these public health measures, and the Chief Health Officer has been clear about this, is not targeted at ACT residents returning to stop them from coming back, nor is it targeted at people in Queanbeyan or Yass or Goulburn, unless they have been in a hotspot and then into the ACT. That's pretty clear. That's the basis for the directions and the basis for the police enforcement, which is, as you've just heard, will be a mixture of random activity aimed at capturing people who are doing the wrong thing. Now, there will be some inconvenience. We understand that and we acknowledge it. But my message and the message of the Chief Police Officer and the Chief Health Officer is that the public health directions are in place for a reason, and we will be out checking. So, risk of an $8,000 fine. Don't do it. Don't put your health, the health of the people you are visiting or the places you are staying, and this broader community at risk. Don't do it.